Hello everybody, this is Mo.
This is Kate. This is Total Law.
Today we're going to be talking about the fourth episode of Game of Thrones, titled Book of the Stranger. So it's the fourth episode of Game of Thrones. It was a okay episode. It got better towards the end. But anyway, let's just start with the plot. Is basically Tyrion strikes a deal with the
masters
of
Astapor.
Jorah and Daria they're in Vasto Thraka and they're trying to free Daenerys, and Jon and Sansa are reunite.
That's the first Stark reunion since
season 2.
Yeah.
So let's start off at King's Landing. We have the High Sparrow and Marjorie having another interesting conversation. Yeah. So what happens?
The High Sparrow talks about his past, how he basically became religious, faithful, pious.
Joined the faith.
But
so he was like a womanizer, a drunk, going to parties, and then one day he just he woke up in the after party, and then he was very disillusioned and wanted to change his path. That's what he told Marjorie. And then after that, he allowed Marjorie to visit her brother.
And Solaris looks like a complete broken man. What did he say to her exactly? I just want it to end.
Yeah, he just wanted the imprisonment to end.
Yeah, he's a completely broken man.
Yeah, dejected, lying on the floor. He has no will to live. But Marjorie, she convinces him that he's the last heir of House Tyrell. He's the heir to Highgarden. That he needs to be stronger. Yeah, so she kind of gives him a hope. And then
some push. She gives him some purpose.
Yeah, tries to give him some strength.
Yeah,
I would say. And then we head over to the Red Keep. Jaime and Cersei.
Basically storm into, not really storm, but barge into.
I thought they were barred from coming into the council meetings.
Yeah,
they don't learn, do they?
Yeah, so they devised a plan with Olenna Tyrell and their uncle Kevin Lannister to bring the Tyrell army to King's Landing.
Yeah.
So this plan looks like it's going to go ahead because they all seem to agree.
They seem to agree, yeah. So they'll also agree that Kevin will step down as the hand of the king, so it doesn't look like it's the faith versus the king. Yeah. So if he steps down, it looks like it's a foreign army, the Tyrells coming in to save their queen. So I don't know how it's going to look. Maybe Cersei and Jaime are playing another game at the same time, or maybe they do just want to,
but I don't really trust Cersei in this.
Yeah.
Because she obviously
he makes wrong decisions.
Yeah, in season 5, she had this feud with Marjorie Tyrell, and she wanted to basically bring down Marjorie Tyrell.
Yeah. So yeah,
I don't know what she might have her own game.
All right, so now we head to the Wall in the north, where the most interesting part of the episode the most interesting part of the episode for me.
Everyone was looking forward to Jon Snow, because at the end of last episode
he said he was leaving.
My watch ended and he walked out, so everybody wanted to know what's he planning to do.
Yeah, so we start that scene with Ed helping Jon
pack up and stuff. Yeah,
going south, and why did Ed's not too happy with Jon leaving, saying you saw what happened in the Hard Home, we need you here. Yeah. And then but just before Jon was about to answer, we hear the sound of a horn of travellers coming into Castle Black.
Yeah, and then the gates open, and we see Sansa, Brienne, and Podrick at the gates. So obviously, the viewers are happy because
it's the first
Stark reunion since
season 1. It was an emotional moment. I think even for me, I got a little bit. I felt a bit emotional.
All the viewers had this.
Yeah, there's a lot of views on YouTube of people crying and just getting emotional and teary-eyed. But it was an emotional scene, especially because it was Sansa, who's been through
a lot
through more than
first episode.
Yeah, more than any other Stark, emotionally. So yeah, they meet each other, they hug it out, and then have a little conversation about how Sansa asks Jon to forgive her for being a bitch to him, basically.
Yeah, she basically is. She was raised to be a proper lady. She hating bastards, disliking bastards. Let's say. So yeah, you see it more in the books how she treats him.
But Jon has forgiven her and told her we were young. I used to be sulking in the corner all the time, so I understand why you were like that. But really, she was being a bitch to him. And then Sansa asked Jon, "Where are you leaving?" And then he was a bit surprised. He said, "Where am I leaving? Where are we leaving?" Like, so he took it upon himself. It's his duty to look after Sansa. Yeah. Otherwise, in his words, Ned's ghost will come and kill him. So I thought that was very touching as well.
And then there's a moment where they're all eating. And there's this awkward moment between Tormund and Brienne. Yeah. Tormund fancies her by the looks of it.
He definitely sees something in her, and Brienne's a bit trying to look the other way.
And then in that moment,
before that scene, there was a even more awkward moment when Brienne, Melisandre and Davos finally have the awkward conversation of what happened with Stannis, what happened with Shireen.
Yeah, I find it weird that Davos, after 4 or 5 episodes, not even actually at the end of season 5, he did look at Melisandre and say,
"Where's Shireen? Where's the princess?" Yeah, but he finally brought up the question that we wanted to know: what happened to Shireen? What happened to Stannis? Brienne bluntly tells him, I murdered your king, and I haven't forgiven you for what you've done to
Renly." Mother? She's executed.
Executed, I still haven't forgiven you what you've done to Renly.
We've met before, he said.
And obviously Davos is trying to figure out what happened to Shireen, his beloved niece, basically, to him. You can even say it's his daughter. He spent more time with her than Stannis did.
She taught him to read, so
so that was an awkward conversation. And then we get a letter from Winterfell, from a Bolton soldier who came into the gates of Castle Black and handed a letter to Jon Snow with regards to Sansa Stark being returned to her rightful home, and besides the Warden of the North, Ramsay Snow, or Ramsay Bolton.
In the books, something similar happens, but people call it the pink letter. So so it's
it's a threat. Basically,
the events were a bit different, but it's the same.
Yeah, it's a threat. The letter's a threat to Jon to you and your bastard.
It's funny that he always uses the word bastard.
He really hates that word, doesn't he? Yeah, he's been called a bastard. Yeah, I think he said it like 5 times. So he's basically telling him, return Sansa to me, and I won't do nothing to you and your wildling army. It gets quite graphic. He tells him that he's got Rickon. Telling that Sansa will be raped if you don't do it in front of your face, in front of your eyes, all that stuff. All that's Ramsay stuff. Yeah, so Sansa's trying to convince Jon to raise an army, to be courageous and take back Winterfell because it's their rightful home. Jon's not really feeling it too much because he's been fighting his whole life. He's been saying since he joined the wall. But she finally convinces him. Again, we have a sister like Marjorie who's convincing her brother to be strong, to be courageous for the family, for her house. So Jon talks to Tormund and asks him, how much fighters do you have? So we find out that the Wildlings number 2,000 men at arms who can fight, and the Boltons, according
5,000 strong.
According to Sansa, have 5,000. So looks like it's going to be a fight. And then staying in the north, we see Osha brought to
Ramsay.
The Ramsay.
Yeah. So that was funny. When she walked in, she tries to seduce him.
She's trying to seduce him. That's what she thought she's brought him for. Yeah.
And then Ramsay's way ahead in terms of his cruelty. So he's
peeling an apple before she comes in. He's
sharpening, basically.
No, you know what they do when they the Boltons
flay.
When he's basically flaying an apple. Yeah. So it's quite symbolic, isn't it? Yeah. And so
she tried to seduce him the same way she seduced Theon.
And when he took Winterfell. Yeah.
And what did Ramsay say? I spoke to Theon, or I spoke to a god?
No, Theon told me how you saved the boys. How you saved them from Winterfell. So he basically knows what she's going to do. So he kills her before she kills him. She tries to go for his neck with a knife, but he's too smart for that. And she's dead, unfortunately. We go further south to the Vale,
of Aaron.
And we see Robin Aaron, little Robin. He's gone so ugly. You know him, Ollie.
Yeah.
Who else?
Even Rickon's become ugly. They're all cute.
Yeah, puberty is one hell of a drug. Only one that I can say has gone a bit better is
Bran. He looks
Bran,
kind of
with the haircut, and Arya Stark. She was cute. Now she's turned into a beautiful young lady.
Even Sansa, beautiful now as well.
But Sansa's always been cute.
So, Vale of Arryn, yeah. So we see Robin Aaron talking to, actually, throwing an arrow, right?
Yeah, he's still pathetic. He hasn't. What's his name? Johan Royce.
Yeah.
He unfortunately his work hasn't been successful. He's still poor at fighting. And then Uncle Peter Baelish arrives and is reunited with Robin, who runs to him. He has a gift, a falcon, a rare falcon of some sort.
The boy's obviously impressed, so
he has them hooked into their falcon, and he knows that he's the Lord of the Vale.
And he uses his power for his needs.
We still see Littlefinger's conniving in this season, which I was looking forward to.
He threatens Euron Royce. No, Littlefinger threatens Euron Royce, right? And then, because Robin's the Lord of the Vale, the Lord of the Vale threatens to throw him through the Mingdor, right? Yeah.
Johan's beef with Littlefinger is that last time I saw you were Sansa, and now I heard that she's married to Ramsay Bolton, and that's why he was angry with Littlefinger. But it looks like Littlefinger didn't know. Like he had a plan to use Sansa to make her the queen of the Warden of Winterfell, etc. But he didn't know that Ramsay was. I personally don't think he knew Ramsay was a psychopath.
Yeah.
So that was his mistake. But it looks like he's rallying troops
for her.
So
and
he does have some sort of interest for.
The Vale will make a difference for Sansa.
Yeah, especially when we discuss the numbers. We had 2,000 versus 5,000 at the Vale's soldiers. We don't know how much they are exactly, but they're mostly horsemen, aren't they?
Yeah.
So maybe we're looking at 500 or 1,000, and those numbers could tip the scales in favour of
the Northmen.
Starks. Yeah. Heading west from the Vale, we meet up with Theon in the Iron Islands, who's returning to his home in Pike.
He still looks like a broken man.
He's slowly regaining his self back. Where he meets his sister Yara, and he finds out that his father, the king,
died only when he landed. With the ship, he didn't really know. So she thought
she was a bit suspicious of him.
How come he's here all of a sudden when my father died? She's thinking, I tried to save you.
She was disappointed with him that for not allowing her to save him, and then she's also disappointed because she's suspicious that he wants to take over as king because the moot was going to be taking place in the next few days. So she reminds him, you're nothing. No one will bow down to you. You're a broken man. You're not an Ironborn. Blah blah blah. And then that kind of breaks him even more. He's already a broken man and he's really weak at this stage.
What does he say? He cut me into pieces.
Into 1,000 pieces. And she says, yes, I know. We received one of them. Which was his penis. So, but then again, we have this same theme in this episode where sisters are encouraging or trying to empower their brothers. Like I said before, Sansa to Jon and Marjorie to Loras, and now we have Yara here
to Theon.
Who's basically telling him to man up. You're an Ironborn. Don't stop apologizing. So we see this theme.
He said, "I'm sorry" 3 times. I think.
We see this theme constantly in this episode, which I liked. So she wants to know what his objectives. Why is he back home for? Why didn't you stay with Ramsay? And he reveals that he wants to help her win the Salt Throne.
Across the Narrow Sea, we head to Meereen, and we see Tyrion and wise masters of Yunkai and Meereen, right? The
masters of grandmasters of Astapor and Yunkai.
So we see them having a conversation about basically they come into agreement. Tyrion's trying to
offer in terms, peace terms,
peace terms,
making peace with their enemies,
for stop funding the
Sons of the Harpy. Yeah.
So, yeah, and they obviously tried to deny.
Their initial offer is for them to, Daenerys and her mercenaries, to sail away from Essos, basically to leave that area, to leave Marine, and they give them a huge amount of wealth, which obviously Tyrion rejects, and he counter.
He's such a diplomat, isn't it?
Yeah, he counters their offer with a grace period where they are given 7 years to stop slavery, because that's Daenerys' #1 policy, you can say.
Yeah,
is to stop slavery. Which Grey Worm and Melisandre are not too happy about after when the meetings ended. They're not too happy about it. But Tyrion explains to them,
you can't just stop slavery. This is their income.
Yeah,
you can't just stop it.
I can't stop a war and start negotiations. And he's explaining to them it's a difficult thing. It's a slow progress. You can't just stop. It's a difference between him, who has experience in courts, and Daenerys, who doesn't really have that much experience.
Yeah.
She just wants to end it, and by her ending it, we had the rise of the Harpies. We had so much problems.
It gave her more problems.
Yeah, so she couldn't really, could focus on her plan, which was to come back to Westeros. Whereas Tyrion, who's a man of the court, a learned man, wise man, which he calls himself, he knows that this is not how things are done with these sort of people.
Yeah.
So he explains to them, you have a grace period where
he's exactly like his dad, Tywin.
Yeah, very smart. In historically, Abraham Lincoln he dealt with the same situation where he wanted to abolish slavery, and he kind of offered the pro-slavery masters grace period to stop, and he compensated a lot of them, etc., etc. So it's quite similar to that period. Yeah. After the meeting with the slave owners, Tyrion has another meeting in the throne room with the freed slaves, who are not too happy with him negotiating with the slave owners. They're not too happy with a foreign dwarf negotiating on behalf of their queen, and they kind of insult him. But then Grey Worm and Melisandre, who they trust more, who is their own people, they kind of back Tyrion. So they say what he's doing is a slow progress, but it's the way forward. So they kind of back him in front of the freed slaves.
But then afterwards, Grey Worm looks really pissed off.
He confronts Tyrion. Yeah, he's saying, you think you're playing a game with them, or you think you have the upper hand, but really they're using you. They're using you. Yeah.
Because he's lived under them.
Yeah. Him and Melisandre are very cautious when it comes to the slave traders, because they lived under their rule and they know how they are, etc. But maybe they're a bit ignorant on Tyrion's diplomacy or his experience.
Exactly.
But maybe they are right. Maybe they could be right. Tyrion is, at the end of the day, he is a foreigner. He doesn't really know too well the politics of
Marine and
Essos.
Exactly.
So yeah, maybe they're trying to warn him.
And slavery is new to him.
Yeah.
Right.
Even though he tried to say he was a slave for like a couple of weeks.
Staying in Essos, we see Jorah and Dario trying to find the
Queen Daenerys in the outskirts of
Vestothraki. Yeah.
So they're looking into the camp, see 100,000 warriors.
And Jorah the Explorer knows his shit basically.
Yeah.
And he points, this is where this happens, this is where that happens. Yeah. This is where we try and kidnap her, this is where we go. And
he takes, that he tells Dario to disarm himself because weaponry is illegal in Vestothraki. Dario is not too pleased about losing his weapons. And then I think this is the first scene where Dario sees
his grayscale. Yeah.
So I'm surprised he wasn't too angry about it. He just wanted to make sure he wasn't touched by Jorah, but
Jorah affirms it to him.
Yeah, you'd think he'll be angry, don't come next to my queen, blah blah blah. But anyway, within the seat itself, at night time, Jorah and Dario come inside at night, and they are confronted by two Dothraki.
They're trying to play being merchants.
Yeah,
trying to act,
and they're easily found out by the two blood riders. who they both eventually kill. Meanwhile, the high priestess of the Doshkalin, she gives Daenerys. She's just telling her about what it takes to be a crone. She tells them. She lets her know that the other crones dislike her because she's a foreigner. But she tells her that most of us are foreigners here anyway. Our blood's diluted. And it's quite a boring conversation by an elder woman to Daenerys. Daenerys not really taking anything in. Yeah. But she kind of makes friends with one of the other Khaleesi's, and then they both leave together to take a piss. And we see that Jorah and Daario have been waiting outside that tent for a while. I think they were waiting for Daenerys to pop outside. Because when I first saw it, I thought all of a sudden, but it made sense because Jorah, like you said earlier, Jorah knows the encampment. Yeah, exactly. So he knows where Daenerys should have been. So they're just waiting for her to come out, basically, and they do.
And they come up with a plan, but you don't really hear it. We don't really know.
Yeah. Well, the plan is just to leave. Yeah. And then Daenerys reminds them there's 100,000 warriors, so we're never going to escape.
We'll do it my way.
My way. Yeah. She has a plan, and her plan was it was executed excellently.
Yeah. It brings us back to season. Was it end of season 2 or 3?
End of season 1.
Oh, okay, yeah, end of season 1, where she's basically reborn amongst fire.
Yeah. So she's with the Khals who are arguing what to do next.
Yeah.
And they're insulting Daenerys, telling her that they're gonna.
She demands it in front of the Khal that you have to follow me, and the what's his name? Khal Morro says, now I know for certain that you're not a Dosh.
Yeah, because they were gonna make a decision whether she was a Dosh. Yeah. So they tell her that we're gonna rape you. Our blood are gonna rape you, and if there's still pieces of you left, we're gonna let our horses rape you. And then that's when the dragon awakes in Daenerys. You know, I was telling you about the theme of the women in this episode. They were very strong, and giving advice to their younger brothers or their siblings. And then here we see Daenerys as the true form, the greatest height that a woman takes at taking lead of the Dothraki. So what she does, she burns the.
So the whole episode builds up this woman leader sort of thing.
Yeah,
it builds it up, and then right at the end of the episode we see this.
Yeah, so she burns all the cars inside the tent, and she comes out unburnt again, just like in season 1.
Naked,
but brilliant at the same time. So this is like the highest aim of a queen, where her subjects are devoted to her, bowing down to her in worship.
Yeah.
Which I thought was a good scene. I mean, we've seen it before in episode 1, but this is on a much larger scale.
Yeah.
Where she has literally the whole of
in
the
season 1 is the weaklings and the
leftovers, you can say, of Khal Drogo's army. But
this is the whole Dothraki basically.
Yeah,
right?
she's done it without her dragons. She'd even done it, you can say, without any outside help. Jorah and Daario only kind of locked in the Khals. That's the only thing that they've done. Daario's never seen this before. He's only heard about it. Jorah's already seen this, but they're still both amazed by her, and then they also joined the Dothraki and bowed down to her, which is a great ending to the episode, I think. And so she's got her army.
She needs to do his head off.
She's got her dragons. She's got her dragons. What is she waiting for? We want to wait another 3-4 seasons of her doing nothing. So we want to see her sailing ship
to Westeros
and finally taking her Iron Throne. Yeah, all in all, it was a good episode. I'll probably say it's the second best episode of season 6, Book of the Stranger. We see a lot of development in characters. We finally see Daenerys in charge of a proper army. So we're hoping you guys can join us for our next review of the
episode 5. I think
called
it's
The Door.
The Door.
Yeah.
I think that's got a lot to do with Arya.
Why is that?
I don't know. It just sounds like something to do with Arya. The house in black and white.
Well, the plot is Tyrion seeks a strange ally, and we saw in the trailer that it's another Red Priestess, and Bran learns a great deal. We see that's also him and the others. He's seeing what the others are all about. Brienne goes on a mission. maybe to the Riverlands.
Arya was given a chance to prove herself.
Yeah, so I think she's given another mission to assassinate someone, maybe. But yeah, so hopefully we can, you guys can join us for that review. Anything else?
Nothing else. This is Total Law, and I'm Kay.
And I'm Mo. Join us next week. Subscribe and like.